This week in Space Station 14, we got some new and very cool items to play with. The purpose of this video, and the future videos to come, is to give a video coverage of all the new stuff added to the game, and cover significant bug fixes or additions. Yes, anyone can read the changelog, and I highly encourage you to do so. However, not everything is apparently clear of how they work, or even clear of exactly what changed. So I'm going to do a video series from now, about every week if I can manage, to cover the things that were added within the week. So, to start, for this week, subdermal implants and implanters have been added. Now, this is a big addition to the game, because now there are basically passive or active traits that syndicates or even normal people can acquire. But as of right now, they're mostly syndicate-based, or Nuki-based. I'm not going to cover every single one, but here we have 3 different types of implanters. We have the storage implanter, light implanter, and macro bomb implanter. There are many more, but I'm just going to cover them. I don't want to cover everything in the changelog. Some things still are best to be discovered. So what an implanter is I'll just take the storage implanter as the best way to describe it. It's a single-use implanter. The implant grants hidden storage. Well, this is pretty simple to understand. So you just take the implanter in your hand, and you inject yourself or anyone you want to have this implant. So if I inject myself, I now have a new action on the side of my screen. That is the open storage implant. And it's a 20 unit storage that only I have access to, and can put anything that can fit inside of it. So like you could put your objectives in here as a syndicate, you could put a hidden gun, you could put your EMAG, you could put whatever you need. And to remove the implant, you could use an implanter to remove it from a person, but it takes an extremely long time, and it isn't even sped up if the person's dead. So they pretty much have to be dead or cuffed, and you're gonna have you're going to be rather patient in order to actually rip an implant out of someone. Anyways, you get the picture with that. There are also other implanters like the light implanter that can be made without syndicates. If you inject yourself with it, you just get a built-in flashlight, basically. It is basically identical to the hard light, or the hard suit light, but you don't have to actually have a hard suit on. So there's some fun, harmless implants as well. And for the third example here, it's a macro bomb implant, and this is, from what I'm aware of, already being changed, and it's not supposed to be obtainable by syndicates, but I believe it's in the surplus crates. And if you inject yourself with it, a large explosion packed into a small implant. It is a little insane right now, but I might as well show it off just to show you the different types of implants currently. I've injected myself, and if I were to kill myself, there would be a slightly massive explosion. Moving on, revolvers have gotten a pretty significant buff. They have been retrofitted to use 45 Magnum rounds instead of 40, meaning they now hit harder and have their own ammo caliber. So revolvers went from not doing all that much damage due to the fact they shared a caliber with a fully automatic gun, so they were nerfed in that regard. But now they pack a pretty significant punch, being able to 3-shot crit a human with no armor on. Before it would take 4 or 5, I think it might even have been 5. Science has also received some new stuff this week in the form of handheld alien artifacts. Initially when they were added, you couldn't actually scan them, so it made progressing through their trees rather difficult. But now you can scan them as well. And I just quickly set one up here, where this one needs physical trauma, and it consumes energy. These artifacts can range wildly from what they can do. Some of them can be guns, some of them can be storage, and they also have other interesting effects as well. So for example, this alien artifact is actually a 40 unit storage, or 40 unit item that has 50 units of storage inside of it. So I could put my banana in it. Also new to science is a Traversal Distorter. Simply put, it's a machine capable of distorting the traversal of artifact nodes. So you can either change it to go inwards, which brings it towards the beginning, or you can change it to go outwards, which now makes the artifact go further away from the starter node, which is typically more dangerous but more rewarding. So what you do is you just simply bring the alien artifact to the node, and you can go in or out. And for example, I'd rather go outwards, so you just do that. And now this artifact is biased towards going outwards in its nodes. One of the more annoying effects for artifacts has also changed, where now you no longer just need the salvage magnet to activate the magnetic component, you can now use mag boots. And while we're still on the topic of science, the rapid part exchange device is it allows you to upgrade machines without actually having to take them apart. So what you do is you just take your parts, like your typical science parts like capacitors and matter bins, load it up in RPED, and you go up to machine on to upgrade, and you just left click it. And now this machine's upgraded without me having to take it apart. Fluids are updated to spill slowly and just in general act a bit nicer. Before they would just instantaneously cover every tile they could with liquid. Now you can watch water spill slowly. And admittedly, it is a nicer effect than before, because before it was kind of odd that you could just see water just pour through walls instantaneously after blowing something up. So now it spills look just a little bit nicer. Two-way levers received a nice quality of life update, and now if you right-click the verb, you can now either push it left or push it right without having to cycle through it, like so. And while we're in cargo, one of cargo's big money makers was nerfed, thankfully. Price of food now depends completely on its nutritional capacity. So a pineapple slice isn't worth as much as the entire pineapple. And it's not as worth as much as an entire pizza. And last but not least, Lighthouse Station is no longer being maintained and has been removed from the map pool. Overall, I actually think this map was liked by most people. It offers some pretty unique gameplay changes. To close, I know this video is probably a little sloppy. I'll definitely improve on it in the future. What I will probably end up doing is just covering more major changes instead of the really minor stuff, just to keep it more brief. And yeah, in general, this video is just a little messy. I haven't done anything like this yet, so I'm kind of just, I have to just test the waters to see what people want. I can focus on, I think focusing on mostly major changes would be the right thing, but we'll see.